Well, good morning, everyone. National Sales Director Linda Toupin here in the last 2 weeks in the month of June 2017. And this message is actually going out for all the consultants and the directors because it's a topic that we all share in common. And that is how do you get that finished feeling in a business that you're never finished? You never run out of people to book or sell, recruit, or train. And so one of the, I think, killers for a lot of entrepreneurial people is how to get that finished feeling. I know that early in my career, I used to be jealous of the girl who cleaned my house because when she left my house, she was done. My house was finished. I could look around and everything was just the way I wanted it. And I love that feeling. And so today, especially these last 2 weeks in June, I think that's very, very important for us. Well, I want to give you a little bit of a history lesson so that you just kind of understand that I have been and continue to be from time to time when I've failed to do the things that make that finished feeling happen. Not only are we in a business where we never get finished, we are also, some people would argue that we're in a business that is not predictable. And I would argue with that because I can look at your sales tickets for the past 6 months and I can tell you what the average sale is. And I can tell you pretty much how much you're going to make if you continue that behavior and that pattern. I can go to any director's ordering a pattern in her unit for the past 6 months and I can tell her almost to the penny how much she'll make in the month of June, how much production will come in, because people are habitual creatures. And so in this business, it is important that we get a very finished achievement feeling. I call it my clean out the refrigerator feeling. It started early for me as a consultant. Every Sunday night, at that time I was married, and my husband and I would go over to his parents every Sunday night. We would cook, we'd have a family dinner, and we would play either cards or a board game or whatever. And I would find myself, even as a consultant on Sunday night, sitting there not totally engaged in the board game because I was thinking about all the people I needed to call and all the things I needed to do for that coming week. And that was very irritating because it was stealing my life away from that moment because I wasn't present to that moment. And I didn't like that. And I remember exactly which chair I was sitting in at the table. The night I literally was sitting there with cards in my hand, but I literally said to myself, not out loud, but to myself, you know, Mary Kay has taught about that 6 most important things to do list. I bet it works. And so anyway, so I went home and began to implement the 6 most important things to do list. But that in itself was not completely enough. And that was when I was exposed to National Sales Director, now deceased, Rena Tarbett. And that was 34 years ago now. And I still live and die by this book. It is my master to-do list every single week. And any time that I feel these feelings, I know I've not been doing my book. If I feel like I've not accomplished anything, if I feel defeated, if I feel like I'm overwhelmed, or my mind is running a million places at the same time, I can almost promise you 100% it's because I have not been working my book. And honestly, my trail to success in Mary Kay can be tracked in a spiral notebook. And so as we enter these last 2 weeks in June for consultants and directors, I really challenge you to take that important hour every week, not some weeks, not once a month, but an hour every week. And on Friday is kind of my clean out my desk day. It's when I get everything finished that's on this list. And I always have this amazing feeling about my life and my business because I was able to cross things off. Now, I'm also making the list for next week. And so just to kind of give you an idea, as a consultant, you should be working about 2 weeks to 3 weeks out in your date book. And as a director, you're working about 2 to 3 months out in your date book. And as a national, I'm literally working sometimes 6 to 9 months out in my date book. And so Friday was an amazing day for me. It was a day that honestly, since I moved, that I really haven't had that feeling because there's so many projects in my new house that I want to get done. And so I made my master to-do list. And so how do you construct it? Well, first of all, people are most important. So they go first. So for a national sales director, that's a list of everyone I'm going to talk to this week about finishing her national court or her half court for our mystery date at seminar. For a consultant, that's obviously the customers that you're going to call to book parties or to set up interviews or to bring as guests to your Mary Kay functions and meetings. As a sales director, it's kind of a mixture of all of the above. So high priority is people. And there may be 50, 60, 70 people on that list. So just don't put random things like call customers. That you'll never get finished with that word. So be specific about who you're going to call. Like, I know I'm going to reach out to everybody who's on target for national quota sales and half quota sales. And so that's a specific list. And that way I know when I'm finished with that list. The middle list for me and for you is called process. So if the high is people, then the middle is process. Process is all the things that go into making all of your Mary Kay business works or your event works. For me, that's pretty massive because I'm planning really, really big events. And so I have subcategories. I have my unit awards, and I have a subcategory list of everything I have to get ready for my unit awards. I have my national awards list and all the things that go into that. Then I have all of my events for the summer, for July, June and July. And on Friday, because it's my cleanup day, everybody I'm going to see in the month of June and everyone I'm going to see the first 2 weeks in July heard from me. Because that's the way the book works. That's the way my system works. That way I know that those people are prepared for me coming. So if that's your hostess or a guest to an event, you're always working that period of time out. And for me, I'm working all the way into August, September, and October. And so if you're in this place where that we often get to in our business where we're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, then I'm just going to encourage you to do exactly what I have just shared with you. It's just take an hour, get away from the craziness, run down to your local Panera or Starbucks, or maybe it's a beautiful day, maybe go to your front porch. If you have little kids, you've got to leave the premises away from little kids and the chaos of your home. You've got to get away from the laundry and the dishes and all of those kind of things. And literally dump your brain. This is called dumping your brain. And honestly, I'll be real honest, I think probably by Wednesday morning early, I will have knocked out the 2 pages for the entire week, mainly because I have a trip at the end of the week and I want to make sure I get those done. I also plan on my master to-do list of who I'm going to call when I'm in my car, because I do have a 10-hour car trip this week. So I can get a lot of phone calls made in a 10-hour car trip. So anyway, you guys, it's going to be a great June, a great finish. Remember, we are in a business that you never get finished. That's the great news, but it's also the bad news. And so to get that finished, clean out the refrigerator feeling, write down what you hope to accomplish, and cross it off. And I promise you, at the end of the week, you're free. You're free to go be with your family. You're free to play cards. You're free to go outside and go swimming with your kids because everything you plan to get done for that week is finished. Have a great June, everybody.